Hey guys, that random comic fan 10 here. I decided to do a video on top 10 things I'd love to see in the Flash movie. Just trying to push Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice for a side for a while because I've been talking about that a lot. Which I'm still very excited for the movie. Really excited to see how it goes, but I just wanted to talk about another DC Cinematic Universe hero who's going to be brought to the big screen in a few years, played by Ezra Miller. And I just wanted to express my thoughts on top 10 things I thought should happen in there. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 10. Okay, to kick off our list for number 10, I thought that they should try to bring out Barry Allen as a character more so than the Flash TV series has. Now, I know that might upset some of the fans of the Flash TV series. I love the series. It's going really good so far. It's really interesting. But just looking at and listening to the character of Barry Allen in the TV show, he doesn't seem the way Barry Allen seemed in the comics. He seems more like Wally West in every aspect. I mean, he looks like Wally West. He resembles Wally West more than he does Barry Allen. And most of his storylines, like how he figured out the ability to phase through objects and so forth, is the exact same way Wally West was brought up in the comic books. So I thought the movie could really separate the two if they made this one just straight up Barry Allen. So that's just my number 10th pick. Moving on with the list. So number 9 on my list, I was just talking about don't take the movie too seriously. Unlike Man of Steel and the Batman franchise, Flash is one of those characters that you can really relate to as a character, feel for, and he should just be an all-around more fun character than the other ones. So taking the movie more lightheartedly than they took Man of Steel or Batman v Superman would be a good route to take, and that might widen their audience as well. Yeah. Number 8. Number 8 on the list. Separate him from the other DC cinematic characters. People complained that with the tone of Man of Steel, that it seemed like Clark Kent as a character was too similar to the likes of Batman. So, just to kind of lighten up the Justice League with more mood, as I said before, I think that you should make him so much of a character on himself that he shouldn't be able, he could like be a character without relying on anyone else, and I'll get more into that in the 7th pick, which you'll hear soon. But I just think that you should just separate him and distinguish his personality so he's different from the other members of the Justice League and future movies. Number 7. Number 7 on the list, I think that we should build Barry Allen as his own individual character. That'd be really different from the Flash TV series, which this movie version of Flash will most likely be competing with. See, in the TV series, it seems like Barry Allen is never by himself, which for a TV show that's great, but for a movie I would like him to be a little more individual. I'm not saying that he should be like the only character in the movie. I mean, I'd still like to see Iris, I'd still like to see his group of friends, but in the TV show it seems like he relies on his friends. So it doesn't seem like he's ever his own individual character, in my opinion. And for a movie, we really need to see him kind of act on his own before he gets in the group or ring with all the other big superheroes, such as the likes of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, etc. Number 6. Try to keep the focus of this movie. People say that Man of Steel, and I somewhat agree, that Man of Steel was kind of too much focusing on other parts and elements of the DC Cinematic Universe. In order for Flash to be a good movie, I think that you should keep the plot focused on just what's going on. I'm not saying that you should close off the universe and stop possibilities of other crossovers or things to happen in the future. All I'm saying is that you should try to keep this movie focused on Flash, the villain, and characters of the Flash universe. Batman v Superman is going to have a lot of heroes in it, and because of that, it's going to be really hard to focus on the two main heroes of it, Batman and Superman, in my opinion. So I'd like to see Flash be a little more focused on its plot and where it wants to go in the future. Number 5. Make him a nerd. Yes, make Barry Allen the Flash a nerd in this movie. Barry Allen is one of the most relatable characters in the DC Cinematic Universe. Well, DC Comics, and he could be in the DC Cinematic Universe. That's my point. People say that Batman is the most relatable, which Batman, if you think about it, actually isn't. He's a billionaire with tons of like different adopted kids and knows like every form of martial arts and has Morgan Freeman making weapons. Flash is just an average guy that happened to get these powers. So he doesn't have any money or any like big egos. He's just the average Joe that happens to have powers. And because of that, he's like in comics one of the biggest fanboys ever. So, like, while not seeing him interact with heroes yet, I'd like to see his reactions and see him fanboying and geeking out over heroes that we'll see in the future. And while doing that, try to make him relatable as well. In that sense, Barry Allen could work almost as Spider-Man works for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, being a relatable character. Number 4. Give us in this movie complex and meaningful villains. Villains that we can kind of relate with and see their pain. General Zod, I really liked him as a villain in Man of Steel. You could see it from his point of view, and you could see what he was getting at and what he strived for. Flash, it's kind of hard with his rogue gallery, since his rogue gallery in comics was never really taken as seriously as other heroes. And you can change that in the movie by giving him more meaningful and just like more awesome villains, bigger threats. Number 3. For number 3, I want them to explore the scientific aspect of the character that is the Flash. Kind of like the TV series. I'd like them to take aspects of the science of his powers and use that as a very powerful point in the story. Number 2, show the ups and downs to having power, the pros and the cons. Super speed has to be one of the most violent superpowers ever. I mean, it could tear away the entire human body. And we need to see Barry Allen kind of build up and gain his powers slowly through the movie. At the end of, from beginning to end of the movie, he should start out weaker and work his way up until he becomes the actual and true Flash that we all know and love. Number 1. Show us super speed like we've never seen it before. TV series such as The Flash, Smallville, etc. Their attempts at super speed have been okay for the small silver screen, but for the big screen, we want to see something more. We want to see super speed in different aspects. We want to see it from Barry's point of view, and we want to see it from the other people's point of view. I really like the scene from Days of Futures Past, switching over to Marvel, with Quicksilver in the fighting scene. If we could see super speed experience like that from Barry's point of view, and then see it in fast motion, that would be pretty awesome. But those are only my thoughts for the Flash movie. I'd love you to comment below and let me know on what you'd like to see in the movie. And if you like this video, please like it, comment, and subscribe for more content. That Random Comic Man 10 out. Be back in a flash.